August 2022. We had 3 uninvited trespassers to our apartment. Had some agitation at the door, go to tell them to leave and go away. At the time, we seemed to have gotten things settled. We were speaking. The incident is sort of domestic. It's with my children's mother, and she brought 2 other guys with her. We settled this situation down some. As we are settling, everything evens out. My mother gets assaulted by my children's mother. Firearms were drawn. My fiance at the time, wife now, created that situation for me to get out of the situation of the 2 guys who were jumping on us at the time. LAPD was called. We were withdrawn from the house. Myself, my wife now, and my 17-year-old son were all placed in handcuffs upon being searched. We ended up going down to the North Hollywood police station, where we were detained and charged with felony assault with a deadly weapon for brandishing firearms, basically. Coming to California, we've only been here for about 2 years to this date. And something that was really important for us in particular was because we do know we purchase and train with our firearms to have the safety and understanding moving forward with certain knowledges that we may not have, not being California residents before. So in that terms, the training that USCCA gives us, the coverage and the insurances that we could have if an incident were to happen, or if we were to have an intruder or a shooting or anything like that, which also was, very imperative for us in these times, especially in our locations where our officials tell us they can't very well govern us, right? So we were processed and arrested. Again, being first time being arrested, we didn't really know the process, let alone here in California.
So we didn't have our wallets,
phones,
or cell phones.
Knew no numbers.
We didn't know any numbers.
And weren't permitted
to try to get those things, and we didn't have the number to the USCCA either. So I couldn't call, or he couldn't call while we were pretty much being processed or getting locked up. So we weren't able to call anybody. When we were released,
we posted our own bell. Which we had to do because another part of the learning process is you don't get to 10% yourself out in Pennsylvania. You have to, in California. You have to get a bail bondsman to 10% your bail, or you can pay the whole thing. So we ended up having to pay $75 each for a federal charge of assault. We spent the next 2.5-3 days in lockup. Once we were released, is when we started reaching out
to the USCCA, and when I called, the guy apologized for me not being able to be able to call him or call them, or even having a number with me, or that the jail didn't provide us with the number. So they allowed me to. That was awesome because he was able to make me feel like better that it was okay, and even to actually file the claim. So I provided him with our information, told him what happened, the date of the incident, told him how much the bail was. He let me know pretty much that they had to send it over to the claims that would let us know, what would happen going forward. And they also, in that same moment, before we even got to that call, he emailed me a list of lawyers I can call right away. She let us know what the process would look like when we got on the phone with the claims, with the actual attorney that was going to help us with the case. Yeah,
and there was a healthy list of available attorneys,
a lot of attorneys.
Throughout by county, throughout city.
Right.
So it gave you thousands of choices, literally, of different lawyers. And it only took 3 calls before we picked, and had an aggressive, active lawyer to help us throughout the case. The DA actually rejected the case. It got knocked down. So we had another court date 2 weeks following that. In that time, we had no contact with USCCA. We hadn't heard anything about the claim or knew exactly what was going on. We asked the lawyer, what should we do? He said he had a connection directly to the claims people to just make sure everything was okay. He called me back the same day and that same, like the hour within his phone call, I got an email from the claims department apologizing, telling us it's so sorry about the late response, but the checks had already been sent out. They were in FedEx and they should be here within the next day or two. And literally the next day, we came home to two $75,000 checks sitting and waiting for us. Our firearms were taken during the time we were arrested for an investigation, because now we don't have a way to defend ourselves. And even with that being said, the claims representative also let us know if we find ourselves taking too long to get through that process, or it just looks like it's not going to go in our favor, that they will also cut a check to replace our firearms that are also gone as well. So this by far has been our best purchase as far as concerning ourselves, our freedom, our ability to protect ourselves with confidence that we're doing the right thing and we have people to support us, literally all the way around. And this is one of the reasons why we not only have our own memberships, not as a family, not as a couple, but she has an individual insurance coverage and I have an individual coverage, the top tier. And this is the reason why, for that coverage, that understanding, that empathy, and that active process of making sure you get the things you need vetted in the applicable services that you need due to you. So from A to Z, like I said, by far the best purchase I've made since we moved to California. And I'm over the moon ecstatic about the way they treated us, how quickly they worked with us, the information they gave us, and just being understanding and fully educated and giving us the correct information to move forward with. So definitely would forward them to anyone, and hope that everyone purchasing or learning firearms would get engaged with them, even if it's not your thing for the insurance purposes, but just to get the safety courses, to go over those training classes. Those are all competencies to being a safe and a functional gun owner, but also keeping yourself safe, being more understood. USCCA can provide all of those things. So I definitely recommend for any and everyone with a firearm, thinking about firearm, or wanting to be current and create safety around firearm training and safety.